Hello, Alicia. You know, I'm waiting for the live stream energy to correct itself. But let me just start. I'm trying to look for something online as I wait for everything, the live stream to correct itself. Hopefully you can hear me. I know you can't see me yet, but hopefully you can hear me. Anywho, welcome to Can Angels Fly Tarot and More. My name is Nancy. And if you're ever interested in ordering your own personal tarot reading, just contact me by email. Oh, really? My email is canangelsflytarot at Gmail. It ain't. Let me stop. Of course, my phone ringing. Hold on, y'all. Just hello. And how long is it going to be? Because I just started a live. How long is it going to be? Because I just started a live stream just 2 minutes ago, actually. Well, you're going to have to wait because everybody is gone. So I'll be here for at least an hour. You done messed up my live stream. Goodbye. I apologize, folks. That was real ghetto. Let me start again. Oh, I wish I knew how to splice. I think I can splice now with what they got going on YouTube. So, what they call it? Action. Scene one, scene two, action. Welcome to Can Angels Fly Tarot and More. While I'm live, my name is Nancy, and I am a professional tarot reader. I'm also an amateur astrologer. If you're ever interested in ordering your own personal tarot reading with me, just contact me by email. My email is canangelsfly1@gmail.com. If you're ever interested in submitting a love offering, just go to my home page. Again, my home page or channel is Can Angels Fly Tarot and More. Look up in the right hand corner where you can locate my Cash App Me link. I ask you to like, share, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Today's live stream is covering Saturn. Saturn actually turned direct September, I believe, 18th of 2019. So that's what this discussion is going to be about. Again, I'm actually trying to find something online so I can read the information to you. Um, read the information to you, and the information is relative to this live stream. So just give me a few more moments. The good thing is the health of the live stream has corrected itself. I do apologize for the interruption as far as the phone call. Hopefully after I complete this live stream, I'll be able to crop that part of the live stream out. Oh my goodness. Why can't I find anything? Let's see if I can do a search. Let's see. Let's see. Really. Really, really, really. Well, let me come over here to you fine folks. Hello, I'm here. I did not find what I was looking for. Um, of course. I'm going to try one more thing. But hello, thank you for your patience. Make sure my ringer off. I mean, as soon as I push live, they call. Not always answer the phone because I have children. Even though they're adults, I still worry. So, uh, thank you. Hmm. I'm looking for actually a news report, and I know I was on the right right. I know I was on the right one. I don't know why it's not coming up. I just read it. Let's see. Try one more time. Let's see. Let's see if I click that. Hmm. Where is it? Just can't disappear. Too major. Hmm. Guess I wasn't well prepared. I just been shook. I'm shook. And so let me try this. What keywords can I put in so I can get the right thing? Um, no. I put the exact date in and it doesn't come up. Interesting. Oh, let's try that. Nope. I mean, it's going back in time. That's the next thing. Hold on, y'all. I'm going to try one more thing. I'm going to try to expand the board all the way out so I can see. Because maybe I'm missing something. But it's real important. I think that news. And I was just on it. Mm, I was just on it. So I was just, well, not even an hour ago reading it. And they have, the news station has, let's see, changed this page already. Hold on. I had to go through drastic measures. I'm going to have to cut a whole lot out. But that's okay. Let's see. I'm going to go to my Facebook page because I think I posted it on my Facebook page. Nope, that I didn't do it like that either. Let's see. Just annoying. I'm trying to stay calm because I'm to this point where I can be really annoyed. Um, let's say, what is her name? Um, um, let's see. That's it. Whew, Lord, have mercy. Mm, yep, got it. Okay, I got it. Thank y'all for y'all patience. Ah. Oh, it's channel 4. I did go to channel 4. I didn't see it though. Okay, y'all, I'm back. Let's see how I can do this. Thank you. Hi, Jordan. I think I said hi, Alicia. I'm trying to stay calm. I'm trying to stay calm. Hello. How are you, ladies and gentlemen, doing? Hopefully, everything is wonderful. For this live stream, I don't have a layout. I don't have any notes. It's more of an emotional, I don't know, rant maybe. Let's see. Again, and I say again because I say this often. I don't know exactly what you ladies and gentlemen are into. What I do believe I know you to be interested in is tarot. But here on my channel, y'all know I do so much more. And one of the things I do in addition to tarot is I talk about astrology and the current astrological energies. That's the part I'm not sure if you're quite into. Hopefully, you do have a little interest in astrology. And I say that I hope you have a little interest in astrology because if you follow me, and I know you find most of you fine folks do, is you know that I believe that tarot is a pictorial depiction of different astrological alignments. So now it's no different. I'm not really talking about tarot here because I'm not trying to help you or myself meditate in order to find answers. That's not what we're doing. We're going, I can say, maybe directly to the source of what animates our life. And that is the astrological energies. I believe it was on September 18th of 2019. Give or add or take a day or so, that the planet Saturn went direct. That planet Saturn going direct has a meaning. And so, what I want to do, is talk about Saturn and what impact or influence it has upon our lives. The energy that I'm about to speak of has many layers, multiple layers that impact our lives. I'm going to be all over the place, and I know I am. Again, this is more of an emotional response to what I've been witnessing. I am a witness. I can testify to that today. I'm a witness. And I'll make it make sense by the end of this live stream, y'all. I've been so upset over the last couple of hours, and I'll explain. Um, where do I go? Where do I go? Because I'm mad. I tell y'all, I ain't gonna cuss during this live stream, but I cuss and fuss because I tell y'all that's what I do. And I don't just cuss and fuss and be judgmental of the people and the situations and circumstances around me. Heck, I'm the kind that cuss and fuss at divinity. I am. I'm guilty. I'm guilty. And so today is no different. I'm going to be cussing and fussing at the people around me, the circumstances and situations, and divinity relative to, here, where's that? Over here? Karma. Over, right, where is that? Nope, this way. Karma. Karma. And I'll make it make sense, hopefully. So, I'm going to take a deep breath. Let's start talking about Saturn first. What does Saturn itself represent? What does Saturn mean for a person in their life? It says to an individual, it says, hey, you're called to mature. And it's my job, Saturn's job, to help you mature in this physical world while you're having this physical experience that you have. And so there are going to be a variety of circumstances and situations that is unique to you as an individual. And all of those circumstances and situations are the means that I'm going to use to help you mature. What does it mean to mature? Well, I'm talking about on a soul level. Maturing on a soul level suggests that one is the process is begun relative to a soul or spirit that's in the body, starting its process of release from the body to what? Ascend back to divinity. And so Saturn says, I got my job to do. Divine has given me my role to play, and I will play it. And I, Saturn, talking about that energy, comes into each individual's life to help you begin that release process or that maturing. Maturing from what? From the physical to the spirit. What are we talking about right now? I'm talking about Saturn. And believe me, y'all, I'm going somewhere with this. I'm so hurt. I ain't got no order. Let me do a little ranting. If you follow me, you know I done made a few videos where I've been cussing and fussing, being critical and judgmental. I also been looking at myself, saying I can't see my flaws, etc., etc. And what can I say? Today it made my judgmental nature make sense. What happened today, the awareness I gained, the consciousness I have achieved in this day made it make sense why I was going through those different phases that I recorded here live. Those have been the last few live streams. It made it make sense. I'm going to stop because I know I'm all over the place. Let me go back and talk about Saturn. So I have preliminarily talked about Saturn relative to being a servant of divinity. It got its job to do. Okay, you can't be mad at it. So it's going to do what it's going to do. And so what Saturn may do to us, when I say us, I'm talking about each individual in humanity, what it may do to us in our lives is block things from coming our way. It seems like it puts up a road barricade or a boundary so certain things can't come to us. Or those things, those circumstances, situation, and people come into our lives, excuse me, and we have to get to the place, don't matter how long it takes. Saturn, another thing it deals with is longevity, old age, long periods of time. So it don't matter, because in and when it comes to divinity in those higher realms, time doesn't exist. So Saturn works with for the divinity. Time doesn't matter, it doesn't exist. You got as much time in your life, to do these things. Or if we got to go into another lifetime, it's whatever. Saturn is conjunct Pluto and Capricorn. Yeah, that's been there for a while. But the energy that I'm really talking about, Jordan, is how Saturn is currently turned and began to move back direct. For us to be talking about Saturn turning and beginning to move back direct, that suggests then that Saturn was just retrograde or appeared to be moving backwards. That also had a meaning. And so right now I'm just trying to lay down the foundation so we clearly understand the role that Saturn plays, or what can I say, what do you call it, when you have a job, the job, when you get a job, they have this list of a description of your job. What's the word when they say you got, this is what you have to do for a job? I can't even think of it now. I've been upset for a while. So here it goes. Let me try to stay focused and clear because I'm still upset. And I'll make it make sense why I'm so upset. But it also made things clear to me and expanded my consciousness and my awareness. And so in the course of this live stream, as I explained, you'll also come to understand how a person comes to gain spiritual enlightenment. This is what you will witness as I move forward in this live stream. Not only is it that you will see or have an example, a clear example of how a person gains spiritual enlightenment, you will see how divinity works on us in order to help us to see. You can see the interaction between a human being and divinity. If you just, ride this wave, you will end up seeing if you really pay attention. Let me go back. Stay focused. Saturn. So sometimes, many times in our lives, there are circumstances and situations and people that appear. And usually those circumstances, situation, or people are very trying, testy, often playing the antagonist. And the purpose is to get us, the individual, to do the Saturn things. And the Saturn things are to do what? Put those boundaries up, limit your exposure to something, or to, hi Debbie, or to deny yourself. You got it. We got notifications going on today. That is wonderful. Thank you for reporting that to me. That makes me feel uplifted. Oh, Karma, Debbie, Karma. I hope I don't forget to say something about what you just said and karma and all that I'm about to be talking about. But I gotta stay focused because I'll forget. Okay. So Saturn says, okay, individual, if you want to overcome the circumstance, this trying circumstance, situation, or person, you're going to have to put some boundaries up. You're going to have to deny yourself access to it, or you're going to have to limit your access to it. If you wanted to get it together, then you might just have to practice some organization. Those are just some of the examples of what Saturn trains us to learn how to do and to master in order to overcome what? Those trying circumstances, situation, and people in our lives. I know I'm all over the place, y'all. I'm kind of ranting here. But I want to interject here, like I often do. I talk about, if you ever hear me talk about that court case, that was a primary example. That court case that I had to fight, for somebody that's new here, that I had to fight. I had no professional legal knowledge or training or anything. But even though I didn't have, professional or official legal training and I wasn't learned, because I followed the rules to Saturn, who I've been reared by my whole life. I came out victorious. I bring that case up because it was monumental in my life, as it was evidence that I had really learned what Saturn was teaching me. I'm gonna let that go because I talk about it all the time. But it's getting more and it's becoming more and more profound in my life, that experience. So let me go back because I want to talk about Saturn in more detail, the multiple levels that it's composed of. Just talking about Saturn now, because we need to have a clear understanding about what's taking place. You need to have a clear understanding about what's taking place, because y'all, I'm seeing people losing their life, throwing their life away because they not understanding. And then there are other people that's going to rise, and they may not quite be aware of where it comes from. Let's get a clear understanding today. Still continuing our exploration about Saturn. We're going to break down Saturn on so many levels. I hope I can remember. Y'all know my memory kind of getting bad. I'm getting old, suffering from old people problems. So if I state something incorrectly, it's all right to correct me. You know, do your research and say, Nancy, you misstated that. It's okay. But I'm just going to give you a general understanding. Saturn has, we can say, is like a shapeshifter, or has many phases, or has many spirits. The first way Saturn can come to a person is through the spirit of Lucifer. In the Christian Bible, they talk about Lucifer, the angel, the fallen angel. Lucifer is also referred to as the morning star. Who is the morning star? We talked about it. It's the goddess Venus. So let's talk about Venus as we know her relative to astrology and tarot. When we start talking about Venus, we're talking about things that are pleasing to the palate. And I'm not just talking about the physical palate as far as the tongue. I'm talking about to the palate of life. You know, all the things that bring us pleasure and joy and are fulfilling and pacifying and alluring and things tantalizing. Those things. That's what Venus is. And many times in our lives, even if life ain't perfect, there's something that seems to come into our lives that is so fulfilling. And it's so good. See, that's the morning star. That is life offering to you its treasures of all types, from sex to money, you know, to particular lifestyles, etc., whatever you get is unique to you as an individual and how you relate to this realm. So once Venus introduces herself to you or another, offers herself over is what I say, you have your moment with it. Usually we get engulfed. We are raptured by it. We fall in love, you know. But then as time comes that the devil card emerges. And when the devil card of tarot emerges, this is Satan. Satan himself. It says, how can I say, just prior to the arrival, I'll say, of Satan or the devil. I think I'm getting something wrong here, but that's okay. No, the devil. The devil's. Forget the Satan part. We talking about the devil in tarot. We still talking about Saturn now. All of this is Saturn. Different aspects or spirits. Remember I talked about, hold on y'all. Remember I did the live stream talking about we got spirits within. It's more than just us and our spirit that's in a vessel. We have cohabitating spirits within us all. So you can think of Saturn in the same way. Saturn also has its cohabitating spirits. The spirit of Venus or Lucifer or the morning star is one. That one does something that brings you the gifts of this earth. Then, during your interaction or experience with those things, there are flags that pop up that say, okay, now you got to put some distance between you and that thing, or you got to limit your use or your exposure to that thing. But oftentimes we don't listen. Why? Because it's good. For many of us, it's not many good things in life. So when we get something good, we want to hold on to it. And we love it like it's our God. But it's not. And so it's these red flags that pop up. We don't listen. I get it. I get it. I ain't listen either. I don't listen most times. I just keep on basking in it. I get it. And so when we don't listen, the next phase is the devil, or the devil's card in tarot, where you see the two slaves partially bound to Satan. They're partially bound in that tarot card. I think it's the is it number 13 card? I'm not sure. Or is that death? It might be death card. I'm not sure which one it is, so I'll retract the number of the tarot. We're talking about the devil's card in tarot now. And we're still talking about Saturn and what it means, so we can understand what's really going on. Why am I doing this? Because I see people losing their life. So, um, the devil's card. In the devil's card, there are two slaves partially chained to the devil. And the reason why the two figures are partially chained to the devil, it is because they are voluntarily chained. They are volunteering to be up under the authority of the devil because they want something. Either the person wants the love, they want the sex, they want the money, they want the experience, they want it. And they ain't listen to them red flags. They didn't care. We don't care if our soul is at stake, if we're gonna hurt somebody. Long as we have that moment of happiness, the peace or the comfort that some of these physical, worldly treasures bring us. We don't care, so we stay bound to the devil. But at any time, those two figures, that we can walk away from the devil. The devil cannot keep us. But what we have to do is what? Do the Saturn thing. The Saturn thing. And that is do what? We got to say, oh, no more of this. We have to deny ourselves, restrict ourselves, put some limits around it, whatever. We got to organize. We got to be disciplined. We got to be courageous to let that go. When you get a good piece of loving or an avenue to some money, you don't want to let it go. Do you know the strength it takes to release those kind of things and walk away? Well, Saturn is the one that teaches us the level of strength it takes to walk away, to endure, knowing you're going to release something that you really want. And the way Saturn helps us release, well, it's not really Saturn. Now we got to go back to uh, the devil part, because it's those red flags. There's always a masculine and feminine energy, or a negative and positive charge, or a light and dark side. The light being those things that you long for, that brings you a sense of physical satisfaction and fulfillment. And then it's the dark side to that very thing. That very thing. Example, one might like to sip, might like to wine taste. Beautiful experience. You can form a skill of being able to distinguish quality wines and things like that. But the dark side is one can become an alcoholic, So it's this light and dark, or negative and positive charge. So anyway, Saturn is an embodiment of that whole process, from the gift to the red flags to needing to let go, not wanting to let go, and then being challenged by the dark side of something. You can stay in the dark side and you can keep partaking in it and getting all its dark aspects and elements. Or you can, what they say, you can gather up the courage, garner up the courage, and break free of that. And then Saturn is Satan. How can I say? Satan is the final phase of Saturn. As Saturn is looked at as Satan himself. Satan, just imagine, your life is a garden with all these beautiful flowers, from roses to dandelions, and Satan walks through that garden. Remember, Satan works for divinity. Understand me? Satan works for divinity. And he walks through your garden of life. And that energy, is the one that prunes your garden to keep it beautiful. And so that's the work he does. That's what Saturn energy brings into our life. I hope I made that make sense. So all of that was about Saturn. Saturn, as mentioned early on, is directly related to um, the past, longevity, old age, long periods of time. It's cold, it is old, and it is dry, and it is hard. Why are those words affiliated with Saturn? Because many times it takes us a very long time to really understand what divinity has the energy of Saturn trying to teach us. It the lessons of Saturn can be so harsh in one's life that they feel wore out and tired. People look up 10, 20, 30 years, even their whole life to pass, wore out, beat up by life because they did not understand what Saturn was trying to teach them for divinity, so that they could do what? Mature out of their physical, worldly mindsets into a mindset that's conducive of being, of ascending. I hope that made sense. I don't know. Y'all have to let me know. So, Saturn, oh, what I wanted to say last about Saturn is that Saturn is also associated with karma. Right now, briefly talking about karma. What is karma? Karma is because you do something, there is a corresponding, an appropriately corresponding result. Bottom line, because you do something, there is a relative corresponding result. If you want to know more about karma, I do have a video I made a few years back. It's called Karma, Karma, and More Karma. Feel free to locate it and really learn what karma is all about in great detail. With all that I have shared thus far, let me go into a story time. And I've told this story before, but I want to tell the story so that you have another way to look at the energy of Saturn and how it teaches. So this is a TMI story. When I was a young girl, my mom worked, regular hours. She worked about 8 to 9 hours a day. And it was just she and I. And so I had my chores to do. Now, my mom had all of this white furniture, or beiges off white furniture, and, carpet and everything. And she had this big, huge grandfather clock. And she just had all of these wonderful things, all these dolls that had been collected from all over the world. And she would say, Nancy, and she had a full china cabinet too. She'd say, Nancy, you clean up the house before I get home. So I had my days, I had my little calendar. And so I used to stand in the middle of the living room and look around like what she want me to do. Now, mind you, she got off white furniture and everything, and I don't see nothing. Nothing, was just she and I. So there was nothing out of place. And so I'm like, whatever. I don't know what she want me to do. That's what really what was going on in my mind. I didn't say that last time I shared the story, but that was what was on my mind. The kitchen, she said, Nancy, clean the kitchen. In my mind, when she's saying Nancy, clean the kitchen, she's saying Nancy, wash the dishes. So I would go in the kitchen, wash the dishes, put them in the dish rack, go on up in the study, do studies, watch TV, or whatever I'm going to do. My mom would come home and she would be so angry at me. My mom is Saturn with this example. My mom would be so angry with me. She would get so mad, she had a vessel that would pop out across her face. She said, didn't I tell you to clean this house? I'd be like, Mama, I cleaned up. And she would be angry because she knew I didn't. And the reality is, I did not clean up because I couldn't see nothing. It was off-white furniture. It wasn't nothing on the carpet. It wasn't nothing on the table. It was nothing from my perspective. She told me to clean the kitchen. I went in there and washed the dishes. There were no dirty dishes. What is she talking about? What she was telling me to do, and what I was doing was two different things. So I point that out because what Saturn is asking us to do, each individual in humanity, and what we are perceiving are two different things where it's like this miscommunication that is taking place. And so I'm here to kind of clarify that miscommunication. So on with my story. So one day, my mom, as usual, she says, Nancy, clean the kitchen. Okay, mom. So I clean the kitchen. Taurus, a beautiful home. Just had that Taurus energy, mentality, mannerism, very regal. That's how, highly educated, uh, high demands. And so, yeah. So she says, Nancy, once again, hey, clean the kitchen. So I do. My mom's at work. I'm going to say my mom's at work. I point out that my mom was at work, leave for work, because my mom, remember, is a representative of Saturn here. When my mom went to work, she's a representative of Saturn retrograde, leaving home. Saturn had already told us what to do. Saturn has already trained us at any given time. When my mom told me to clean up, she had already trained me. How did she train me? I'm getting detailed, y'all. As I grew up, I didn't come up in no messy house. It was a time period and age in which I was just see my mom in the kitchen cleaning and drying and putting things up and vacuuming and doing this and that. Then the age came when my mama said, I guess you're old enough to kind of help me. Nancy, you can dry the dishes. Then as I progressed in age, Nancy, you can wash the dishes. And it kept progressing as I got older. So when I got up to age, let's say 15, 14 or 15 is when this happened, 16. Um, my mom says, Nancy, make sure you clean the house and clean the kitchen. Okay, mom. After all the years of training, she leaves. She goes to work. Saturn retrograde. I've already told Nancy what to do. Then she gets off of work at 5 o'clock. She comes home. Saturn direct. That's what we're dealing with now. Saturn direct. So here's my mom as Saturn direct. She hits the door. Immediately, of course, starts walking through her home. And she sees that I haven't vacuumed. She sees that I haven't dusted. And then she walks into the kitchen and sees that I have not cleaned the kitchen. And she says, Nancy, come here. Remember, my mom is Saturn. She says, I told you for the millionth time to clean this house up and to clean this kitchen. And because you haven't, I'm taking every single dish out the china cabinet. And she had an elaborate, extensive china cabinet. She stayed in the house for over 30 years, so she had really accumulated and had a very fine taste because what, Jordan? She was a Taurus. She says, and you're going to wash every single dish, things that weren't even dirty. And you're going to dry every single dish. And you're going to stack it up in the china cabinet in order as you have been taught to over the course of your life. Until you do that and do it correctly, you are on punishment. There is nothing else you will be able to do until you accomplish that. It was that day that my mom, Saturn, pulled all of those dishes out that china cabinet and the kitchen cabinet. It was in the kitchen cabinet that I understood. Oh, it wasn't just that. I can go into detail. I might as well tell y'all. She pulled everything out the china cabinet, the kitchen cabinet, went upstairs in the linen hall, pulled everything out the linen. We've been talking about a person that's been in their house at that time, maybe 20-something years. Linen cabinet, everything. Meaning I had to fold up every piece of linen and stack it up. I had to go wash every dish in the kitchen, dry it, put it back where it belonged, stack it up right. And also, she pulled the vacuum cleaner out, put it in the middle of the floor. She had new carpet. Vacuumed the carpet. I had to vacuum the carpet. Now that I'm older, how did she know I hadn't vacuumed the carpet? Her carpet was still fairly new, barely walked on because it was just she and I. But when you get the new carpet, it's always these little pieces of new carpet fabric. She could see them. Now, I still ain't figure out how she knew I didn't wipe the tables off, because I don't remember seeing nothing. But she knew I did not dust. She knew it. So maybe she had a more keener eye than myself because she was much older, Saturn, much more knowledgeable, skilled, and mature than myself. So she could see. And I couldn't. And she had crystals, so it might have been dust caught. Now that I'm older, it might have been dust caught in the corner of the crystal or something like that. So my whole point is that because I did not understand what she was asking me to do, and because I couldn't understand why she wanted me to clean up a space that was all looked to me immaculately clean, that she went to an extreme in order to get me to do the right thing, to not take any shortcuts. And so what am I talking about my mom and that story for? It's because my mom, that story is an excellent example to understand Saturn, especially when it turns direct. When it's already been in your life and it's been training you every day of your life. In the smallest intricate details, it's been training you primarily in a particular area of your life. It may be multiple areas, but a particular area in your life has been training you. Like I said, my mom trained me year after year. First, I watched her clean and cook and things. Then I was invited to dry the dishes off. Then I was invited to dry them off and stack them up. Then my time came to wash, dry, and put them in a china cabinet. And that's why I fell off. But she was still teaching me, and she taught me. And so I'm talking about Saturn. Saturn right now, well, on September 18th, I do believe, give or take a day, turned direct. My mama came home. Your mama came home. Or your daddy came home. And daddy came home to do what? See what you've accomplished. See how knowledgeable or masterful you are. If you ain't, ready to administer karma. So, I know I've been talking. I wanted to share that so we clearly understand what I am talking about. Right now, we're talking about Saturn turning direct and how that energy is administering, issuing out karma in people's lives. Let me see where I'm going to go because I'm ready to fuss now. My heart broke. Got tears on the rim of my eye. So I talked about that. Okay. So now I have to talk about what upset me today. Actually, it's been over this last week. So Saturn, I think, went direct again September 18th of this year. When talking about the astrological energies, it's not just like it starts on that day. No, it just depends on how you relate to this physical realm as an individual entity. And for some, what am I saying? For some, these predetermined life experiences or lessons come in early. Might be a week or two early, or even a month earlier than the date that Saturn actually turns direct. And that's when a person really has to really look at and evaluate calendars and all those kind of things. That's far too. Hi, Pam. I hope you caught me live too. Today I'm here talking about Saturn turning direct and what it really means. If you're just now coming in, I do ask you to go back about 30 minutes ago, after I'm done with the live, to really get a gist about what I'm talking about. But thank you for dropping by. So, how does it relate to us? Well, again, we will have to look at calendars and all kind of things to see when energy really will start hitting an individual person. We're all unique. Sometimes it come in early, sometimes it come in late. The focal time is, the time reported, which is September 18th. That's when Saturn turned direct. So, okay, thank you for doing a replay because you're going to really get it. And as part of it, I'm going to chop out because I got a phone call as soon as I went live. I was running my mouth behind the scenes, trying to get myself together. So I got to chop that out, y'all. But I think it's about 15 minutes or so in. Okay. So right now I'm going to talk about, I guess I can title this part of the live stream, current events. These are intimate current events. Over the last couple of weeks, I have witnessed the fall downfall of some folks that are a part of my circle, or have been a part of my life at some point in time. I say that some my circle, some a part of my life at a particular time. So I try to make that make sense. About a week ago, someone comes to tell me, I got to be vague. Someone comes to tell me that someone that I really care about just got caught up in a case, and the sentence is upwards of life. I've been saying it ever since then. And then today, I'm on Facebook and I see this news report click on Detroit, which is, I think, Channel 4. And what I see is another person that has, I guess I could say it was kind of significant in my life, facing a life bid. That's two people, at least. And it was something else. But it was today. It was today that really expanded my consciousness and woke me up. Because I had been asking divinity, I said, hey, I can't see my own flaws. What's wrong with people in the world today? I fuss about karma because I done had a lot of horrible things happen to me in my life. And I'm not talking about no mediocre stuff, y'all. This is kind of TMI. I'm going to stay vague in general. But I done had some messed up stuff happening in my life. And those things would be high profile cases, except everything that's done in the dark does not come to the light. Now I hear that a lot. And whenever I hear that statement, that quote, it makes me angry. Because everything that's done in the dark does not come to the light. And I am a person that tried to push it to the light. But it was always, the truth was always rejected by this ram in this place. As far as I was concerned, God, I've been mad. Karma. Why wasn't karma served for me relative to these high profile crimes against me? Why? It was just as if it never existed. So I get to be maybe crazy. Now it's like a ghost, and it's of the past, but it's still in me. And why do I bring this up? Why am I TMIing? Because when I heard of these people that have caught these big charges that carry a maximum sentence of life, that hurt me. Because I know these people. Saturn, karma. Now I'm going to read this one because I couldn't find the other person's. Now I couldn't find the other person's charges, but this is one person's charges. This is the one I saw today on Facebook. I'm not going to say this person's name, but they were a resident of Detroit. It is black male. This person's a black male. This case is interesting, the way that Click on Detroit Channel 4 is reporting it, because there were 3 people involved in whatever occurred. It was a black man, and they posted his picture on their site, and so I'm sure it's all on the internet. And they listed all of these charges against this person. Am I saying that these charges are not true? I'm not saying that. I'm going somewhere with it. But then the next thing is, pay attention. The next assailant, I think is the word, is a white woman, age 66. They didn't say much about her other than she's a 4th-time offender. The next person, they did not say if this person was what nationality or race they were. They just said that they were driving the car on a suspended license. Now I'm going to go back to this black guy. I'm going to list the charges that he's facing. Now all 3 of these people were in the same vehicle, and therefore all should be facing the same charges, but they are not. And the reason why I'm bringing up the distinction about their races is because now we're starting to deal with social and generational issues that have yet to be resolved. That's one thing we're dealing with. So let me read these charges, y'all. Right now, if y'all making comments, I can't see. Um, let's see. This person is facing the following charges: possession with intent to deliver methamphetamine, second or subsequent offense, maximum 40 years in prison. Possession with intent to deliver less than 50 grams of cocaine, second or subsequent offense, maximum 40 years in prison. Possession with intent to deliver less than 50 grams of fentanyl, second or subsequent offense, maximum 40 years in prison. Felon in possession of firearm, maximum 5 years in prison. Carrying a concealed weapon, maximum 5 years in prison. Habitual offense, fourth offense notice, maximum life in prison. Lastly, felony firearm violation, maximum 2 years in prison, served consecutively with felony conviction. Now, that is the person that I know what they're being charged with. This is an African American male around my age. Then I explained there's two other people in the car. The other was a 66-year-old white woman, and they just wrote here that where did they write about her? Here. Well, they let us know that everything, they were pulled over, and all of this evidence was accumulated in the car that all three people were riding in. And I can't right now find the part where it just says that she's a fourth-time offender. It doesn't go into detail. Doesn't go into detail how she ended up being a fourth-time offender or nothing. And like I said, the guy that was driving, they talk about nothing about any what do you call it? A record, arrest records or anything like that. And just said he was driving on a suspended license or driving without a license. Driving on a suspended license, I think they said. And so why is this disturbing to me? Again, it's disturbing to me because there are, it reflects that there are some cultural biases that exist. So this is why I'm angry. When I share my TMI about the crap that had happened to me that was high profile, that never came to light. Here's something else. Not this particular case, but that there are social biases that exist relative to people's race or what do you call it? Race, right? Or it could be social status or whatever. There are biases. So karma, here I go cussing. Because I tell you, I don't just cuss at the people around me or about the circumstance or situation. I be fussing with divinity. You tell me that this person, this young man I just read about, that's been called all of these charges, is being projected or reported as a monster, but the other people that are part of this story are not being vilified. They're all villains, but it just so happened that two of the people in that car with all that going down are not being vilified. So, and what am I saying? I'm saying, hey, divinity, why has there been no karma for this type of social bias? Where's the karma for it? When I asked that, divinity answered. He said, let me know. He said, this is the karma for such things, for such social biases. Let me talk a little bit. I don't know much about the other person's case yet. I'm waiting for information to come through. Um, but this person has gotten caught up, I think, in some supposed to be, I don't know, just throwing something out there, the closing the gap for this video. So, if anything listening, I don't know nothing. But he got caught in a drug transaction gone wrong. Somebody get murdered. They are the ones left unharmed. They are a three-time offending person. Now they facing life. Is this person not a criminal? I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, why are these people, whether black or white, why are they multiple offenders? Why are they 3 and 4 time offenders? And still, at the second or third time, still taking risks, knowing that if they get caught, their penalty is life. Saturn, karma. Which one should I talk about first? But let me finish. Let me read the chat. Let me stop. Let me read the chat. I can't leave y'all out while I'm fussing and cussing. Y'all know I can't leave y'all out. Man. So, and Pam says, oh yes. And I would put money on everything was on their person. Most likely. You know how I go. And so why do I bring these people up? I know a lot of people in my life. At this point in time in my life, I am a loner, and I am selectively a loner. I tell y'all that people want to put me in a box, and I won't be in a box. No, I don't fit the standards that are acceptable in this world, and because I don't fit those standards that are acceptable to this world and the culture in which I am born, people want to make me subordinate or submissive, and I can't do that. And rather than be in power struggles with another, I just isolate myself. I do believe eventually God, life, all will make this all make sense to me, whether I'm held accountable or not. I'm willing to accept the accountability whenever it comes. But the reality is, from my perspective and what I'm seeing, that people want to push me in a box. And I always talk about it. I'm not going in a box. I'm not going to be your scapegoat. I'm not going to be your pushover, so kick box or whatever. I ain't doing it. I'm not going to look bad. I'm not going to allow myself to feel bad. Not for anybody. And I'm going to tell y'all why I state that once again. Y'all hear me talk about it all the time? Once again, when I remember why I be talking. So let me continue. I'll remember eventually. Because I'm about to start fussing. These people that I've spoken of that I know that are facing these charges, why are they so relevant? Why are they so profound? Why have they provoked me to make this live stream? It is because at least one of them, the one that I read all them charges, I know him since he was a child. I'm a few years older than them. The other person I've known for maybe about 10 or 12 years. But I've sat with, let me talk about the one that I've only known about 10 or 12 years. I've sat with this person. Y'all hear me talk about, pay attention, my channel coming full circle. Full circle. I've talked about why I'm fat. And I talk about the reason why I'm fat, because people come to my home. They need to talk. They need to make life make sense. They need to talk about the paranormal, the supernatural, the things that are hidden from mainstream that never come out into the light. They sit at my table. And when they sit at my table, I cook. And we eat. And we break bread. And we talk openly. And we pray. And we figure out some answers. That's what we do here. And I've always done that. And so these people have come. These are, this one with all the charges, I really didn't get to do that. Now make that make sense. So this one person that I've known, again, about almost 12, 13 years, he was no different. And so in the stories that he shared, as well as his family that I ended up meeting over time, this person's mother was on drugs, generational issues, or the what do you call it, the result of a generational issue. His mother was on drugs. He raised himself, raised himself in the streets. And so over time, a particular mentality was formed. Karma, you know. So I asked God again, why has not karma have not been dealt out to those that, how can I say, set such things in motion? When I say those that set such things in motion, those that formulated, created, and bought in drugs, or I'll say the higher ups, or the powers that be on a level that is directly infiltrating the standard or lay people's lives. Them people that's really got their hands on the people. I'm talking about whether it be politicians or I don't know who. I have an idea, but I'm not ready to go into that during this particular live stream. Who actually had their hands on the people and what ends up happening inside societies and communities? Those people. Why has not karma has not been dealt out for them? See, this stuff is big. This stuff is bigger than the two people that I know. And it's a few more. But I'm talking about these two because they made me very mad. Because I really got to know these people extensively. Other people that I've known have died. But what I could say, this person, when they would share their lives with me, their life with me, and their reasonings and different things like that, their whole background, I get to sit with them, hang with them, be around them. The truth of the matter was, this person was a really nice person. And I know a lot of people will argue that because he was, I'm going to say hypothetically, selling drugs. Hypothetically, I don't know that. I wasn't there. The case say possibly, hypothetically, that, it was a drug transaction went wrong. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But when I sat with this person, I had no reason to be biased. I'm not going to get nothing from it. Wasn't going to get nothing from it. Ain't going to get nothing from it. And why is it breaking my heart? Because I done sat with this person. You can tell a person's soul. This person that I speak of, that mom was a drug addict all of life, and they was by themselves their whole life. Nobody there for them. This is a person that tried to go legit. Bought their own business, tried to go legit. This mother sucker, I'm ready to cuss, fed people that were of like experiences. Other people, younger people, tried to create a haven for them to come in so that they didn't have to do that. And this is their karma. This is the end result. Where is that for them? A life sentence. It's all gone. This person has children. They have a significant other. It's all gone. Karma. So right now I'm talking about the karma on a large scale. He and what he has possibly had to do to sustain his life, that hustle, is the karma for humanity. It is the karma because there were people that were in power that were interested in destroying a particular race. And once they opened Pandora's box open, they couldn't stop it. That SHIT spread like wildfire. All of the dope, all of the murder, all of the hopelessness, all the destruction of people's lives. He is just one of many, probably of millions of people that have dealt with some aspect of this ill or this wrongdoing that was implemented, and executed by people in power. On a mundane level, karma, talking about Saturn, karma, that this person, I can say this, they did have an ego. And I kind of understood the ego because, again, he was able to sustain his life from a child without any parental guidance. Moving from home to home and in and out of the system. No stability, no security, can't make sense of his life and the insaneness and the things that don't come out of the dark into the light. And when he was able to get up, he established himself. And it opened doors to feed those that were like him. He attempted to create a ministry, like in my house. I had it in my house. See, don't let nobody fool you about who angels are. Angels sometimes are good, and that same angel can sometimes be bad. No, I'm going to stop because I was about to go talk about something I seen online. So, he tried to set up a ministry quite similar to mine. His platform or his scene was different. He is a barber, bought his own barber shop, house, fed, clothed all the people, and tried to get them places to work and things to do. But that that ill, that poison, already exists. It's greater than him. It is greater than me. It's greater than all the people that he tried to, help and get up. It's greater than him. His ego. Also, again, I was talking about his ego, so I understand his ego being big because he put forth the work and effort. Did it come from a dark place? Yeah, that's where it came from, the dark. So yes, it came from the dark place, but he tried to bring light. And so what am I saying? I understand his ego coming from him doing the works that he did do when he could do it. Nobody will ever see them works except for those that experienced it head on. Except for those people that did get fed or needed a place to lay their head or needed a few dollars. See, only them people will remember his good works. Everybody else, the courts, any witnesses, all they will know is the bad part. Those courts and those witnesses and the jury and whatever, all they would ever be able to see is that was reported due to this case and charge you just caught. I can't see the rest. Karma? Is karma uh is karma fair? Is it really just? Is it really just? Okay. So I talked about him. Oh, I want to say that his ego was a part of how he got himself in trouble, I'm quite sure. So I've talked about the ego as well as one of those cohabitating spirits that dwell within us, and how we must do what? Maintain mastery or maintain control of our vessel at all given times. I'm sure his ego. Still, and the ego is a whole different thing when talking about a person, because the ego can become inflated. It can become inflated by the works that we do, but it can also, like in this case, become inflated due to the hustle, being able to hustle and to survive. That also inflates and sustains the ego. And because his world, what I'm trying to say, because his world was so riddled with both the light and the dark, primarily dark, that that ego that was associated with the dark was able to overdo or overtake the ego part, the part of his ego that developed as a result of his light works. And now he is facing 15 years. Life. And what I can say based on what I have experienced in my life is that narcissist type ego is going to leave him sitting there in the jail cell. If he gets whatever time he get, that narcissist ego for a while gonna leave him. It's just gonna be his spirit sitting there. But what I can say as well is that what will be there ministering to him the whole time is that ego of the light. It will not leave you. It won't leave him. And it's going to sit and it's going to talk to him. And it's going to show him his wrong ways and it's going to show him his right ways. The messed up part is, in the midst of all that, his physical flesh body, his vessel, will be sitting there in the jail or the prison, and it will suffer. This is the Taurus thing. So what I'm talking about here, what is occurring in this person's life that I'm talking about, remember, has to do with Uranus and Taurus as well. Saturn has issued out the karma, his karma, as well as the collective karma, the results of the collective's works in this world. That karma has also been dealt out to him. And I have an issue with it because that's a lot of karma for one spirit to bear. I hope I'm making this make sense. But on a soul level, he is one of the witnesses to divinity about the collective consciousness. I hope that made sense. So now I'm going to read the chat, and then I'm going to talk about this other person that I just read all of these charges for. This is a person I've known since I'm 49 now, soon to be 50, and I've known him since I was about 16 years old. So what's that? About 43 years. 43 years. So let me read the chat first. Yes, Mama, that box got me a name, and that is crazy. Oh, you got you a box too, Pam. Decorated real nice. Sit it on the front porch. Shut up, Scrappy. Jordan Oliver, that's right. We Aquariuses are not here to follow the status quo. We're here to show people how to be authentic, happy, free, and happy with themselves and deliver value. That is the role of Aquarius. Hi, sweet, you home? Oh, they wanted to bring the baby over, so if you want her, you got to call them because I told them oh man, I just hit something. I went live.
I just thought about it.
Okay, while I'm live, you should get out. Y'all always messing up. But I told them I had just went live. What is going on? Why? How do? Oh, okay. Okay. Quote here to show people how to be authentic, free, and happy with themselves and deliver value. That is the role of Aquarius. That's one of our roles. Politicians are corrupt. I don't trust them. Many of them are. Their time is almost up. 444 W. Mm-hmm. So now I want to talk about this other person that they all them got all them charges. Karma. Saturn is here to issue karma. He too is getting the karma of his own personal karma, facing life, as well as yes.
Your mama? That's what the number is.
I think so. But he's also being administered the karma of the collective conscious too. To have to bear the karma of the collective conscious or the collective failure is more than any one person can bear. However, he is another. And I was gonna say, they throw me off. Collective conscious. So, he too, like the other I just spoke of, is a witness to divinity about the state of humanity and its works at a particular period in the timeline of the history of humanity. They will witness. And this witnessing or testimony is on the spiritual planes, from the soul. They will witness. And it's sad because they're like a sacrifice. Again, I know many would argue with me, oh, they're criminals and they're this and they're that. But what led them to be criminals? What led them to join forces with the dark energy? Let me talk about this person. As mentioned, I known this person maybe, what did I say, about 39 years. Don't check my math, y'all. Little 30 years. So this person's mom and dad were both drug addicts. This person, since they were little, mom and dad were absent from their life. Were there other family members? Yes, there were other family members. But nobody really cared about this little guy. And I watched this. See, I was a witness. Nobody cared about this guy. And he had to take care of himself. He had to eat. It was nobody there to make sure he ate. His mom and dads was everywhere they wanted to be, fulfilling their own physical urges and desires. Brought a child into this world. This not just one. This person that I know that caught all these charges is just a representative, an avatar, or a poster child for many like himself. His parents running wild, doing what they gonna do, enjoying their life, turning up, family members doing their own thing because they got their own thing to take care of, handle. They can't make no room in their heart or their space to help this child. For the whole time that I knew this child, hey, how you doing? I'm fine. What's going on with you? We're talking about the Saturn turns direct in karma. Karma is being issued out. It really is. And so this child, for as long as I knew him, it was nobody there. It was nobody there to reproof him, correct him. I don't even know if he went to school. I really look back, I don't remember ever seeing him go to school. So I don't even know if he could read or anything. I'm sure he probably learned to read, possibly some. I'm not sure. Really not sure. But it was nobody there. And he was a little stinker. I'm sure feeling so insecure, so unloved, so unimportant. I can only imagine. I ain't hear no stories about what may have been done in the dark and didn't come to the light in his life. I ain't heard them stories from him. But I just know, every step of the way, I never saw that child, the young man, the child, the young man, or the adult, never saw nobody. Except for one time in his life, one opportunity that I know in all his life to have what was a normal life. But by the time that opportunity came along, he was already scarred. Because that opportunity just happened maybe 5 years ago. This child had been going through this already for 40 years. The wounds that deep don't heal. They can't heal like that. That person would have known to be up under therapy. He was scarred. Scarred. But what I did know about him is that I can't go into detail because I interacted with him, but not to the point where I ever was a place I never saw. Like, I can see the demon or Satan come up out of a person. If Satan is a part of who they are, that cohabitating spirit, and in there ministering and doing, being authority, it'll rise to the surface. Y'all heard me talk about it before. If you follow me, I got a series of videos out here called Spirit Talk. If the devil is predominant in somebody's soul and their spirit, it will surface under their flesh, and you can see it. I never saw that on him. What I saw, and then even if a person is really working with the dark, they'll emit that they're working with darkness. They are, you can tell they're conniving, they're sneaky, they're lying. That's never ever, they're dangerous. But I never saw that. I never saw that in him in all them years. But what I did see is he had arrested development. What I mean by arrested development? Like I said, after that child popped up out the womb, he was one of them kids that was left in the hospital after their mama had him because she had to go out and get a howl. You know what I'm saying? Daddy not there. Nobody there. So eventually he make it out the hospital. He get up to age where he can go, if he got to go to the store to steal some potato chips to eat, this is his upbringing. So that arrested development started when he was maybe about 4 or 5. That emotional state, that fearful state. That there's nobody here to house me, clothe me, put shoes on me, love me, or hug me. All I ever saw in this man's face as I've known him through the years, look in his eyes, it was fear. It was sadness. I'm talking about, I didn't suffer from depression. I done talked about it, y'all. I made videos about depression. No. I'm talking about a depression that sits way back in one's eyes. You know how they say the eyes are the window to the soul? I made a video about that too. But the eyes are the window to the soul. It was always the sadness. You know, when you smile, you get the little crow's feet. He never had a smile that offered crow's feet or anything. It was almost, it's not that he was empty, because I met people that's empty. He wasn't empty. He was wounded. He is still alive. He is wounded on the deepest level. But, and this is what I'm saying. God, what about the whole the whole collective karma? These two people that I talk about are the product of their environment. They really freaking are. And all of the ills and wrongs that have been done to them by their birth parents, the family unit, any organization that was set up, it wasn't, why? Why couldn't the organization help them? Because it was way too many. I'm just talking about two poster childs that represent a generation or a group of people that have had to deal with such horrific ills that have been perpetuated in this world. So nobody, this is my point, is karma, who are you? Because nobody, except for those that witnessed what was taking place, know what them people went through from the time they popped out the womb. Nobody ever sees that. Nobody felt their hunger. Most people, at least in the United States, don't know what it is to be hungry. I ain't gonna say it. They don't know what it is to be hungry. But some people do. To be hungry will cause you to break all kind of laws. Because either you're going to allow yourself to go through the most horrific torture and torment to the point you die of malnutrition. That's more than any physical vessel can deal with. So one will go out and do what they got to do to satisfy that grand urge, whatever it is, whether it's steal or kill. However, nobody knows those phases in their life. Starting off when these people were children, babies, all the way up. Most of us can't even imagine being birthed, carried out the hospital, and then there's no one else to take care of you. You're handed from place to place and hand to hand. This is a reality in our world. And this that is happening to such people and has happened to such people is the collective karma. It is the collective karma. These people committing these crimes, spreading these drugs, this poisonous to the rest of society, doing whatever a criminal does, whether it's murder or rape or whatever, pedophilia, whatever you want to call it, that is the result of the collective karma. That's the karma of it. Because we did this, this will occur. This is the residual corresponding effect. Because them people's mamas and daddies was out there getting high, there was nobody to take care of them. Because there was no family member to step in when they needed them. Because there was it was too many children dealing with the same thing or similar circumstances and situation. Those organizations that was trying was overwhelmed by these stories because of that. Now the karma is being delivered, and it won't stop being delivered. It won't stop being administered out. These are just people that came, that it occurred in my life, in my sphere, so that I can finish witnessing this. They are a testimony, a spiritual testimony to divinity. I am a testimony to I witness these people's lives. I sat with them. I broke bread with them. I ain't got no reason to be biased because it never will benefit me or not. But I saw. And this is the crazy thing all along the way. I'll talk about the guy I knew all them years. I used to, since we were young, I'm like, man, what's going on? Something wrong. Hello, 11, how you doing? I said, something wrong. I used to get so mad at them that I was around them, kind of abusing them, just casting to the side, talking crap about them. I was like, wow. And I've seen some other things in my life. I was like, what is going on? I always prayed for this person. It was about a month ago that this person crossed my mind and my heart. I hadn't seen him in about 3 4 years, and I only seen him briefly then. And the other day, I mean, a few weeks ago, he crossed my mind and he stayed sitting on my mind. I was like, what is it? And so I'm talking to him. I'm not physically talking to him. I'm like in my mind, spiritually talking to him, like, what's going on? Hang in there, what's going on? I ain't seen this person in a few years. But they were so heavy on my mind, so I guess they was in the middle making some more bad decisions in their life. Still not around the family. They got a huge family. Nobody there to support them. That's deep. That's deep. And we're not talking about people. That's all nothing. We're not talking about. This is just a little extra. We're not talking about. Sometimes people do not want to deal with other people because they may bring them down or bring some negative stuff to them. We're not talking about that as a reason for separation. And I'm gonna let that go. So, um, Saturn turns direct karma. As I move to close this live stream, I want to talk about how in the course of our lives we have been being educated about something in our lives. And what we're educated on, or primarily our focus of education has been on, again, is unique to us. Just some examples, not going to go into a lot of detail. Um, like, for instance, if a person's being educated about the first house issues or matters, a person may have been being educated in the course of their lives about their identity, how they use their vital life force energy, how they present themselves. They may have been in training their whole lives. Second house, is Saturn is trying to educate you on that. It could be about, learning to manage or budget, or to be a little more humble as far as one's use of resources in this world. It could be. Let me give you an example because I just immediately thought about it. Hi, Dr. Princess. Late notification, of course. Somebody got it early on, so at least they sent them. Second house, possibly. How can a person be being re-educated? Let's say, hypothetically, this is just an example, so case scenario. A person is born into this world. They take their avatar, and they live a life in which I'll say they start developing. What was I about to talk about? Oh, they may come up in a well-to-do family, and many blessings financially, da da da, this and that. And they really ain't never had no troubles when they were younger. Parents, had a decent amount of money, and so they were able to tap into that, or and they may be a little more beautiful, or whatever the case may be. As life has progressed, there might be threats to a person's sense of security, their beauty. This is just an example, a not well thought out example. Uh, how can I say this? Why is this lesson possibly happening for the example I'm giving? Maybe because over time a person became very vain, having a sense of entitlement, and divinity says this needs to be corrected. And so, let's say Saturn comes in, which Saturn is kind of neutral with second house of Taurus. Uh, so that might not be the best example, but I'm keep going so it makes sense. And so, in the course of a person's life, they may end up having experiences that slowly try to get them to, again, be more humble. Watch what they spend. Like, for instance, they might fall and knock their teeth out. Remember, this is a vain person. So in the course of life, they may fall and knock their teeth out. Like, oh, that's horrifying for a person that is vain. But their life allows them to reset their teeth with some, fake teeth or veneers. They cool. They really feeling they self, smile on fleek. A little later on in life, something else happens, and something else happens, and it's saying, hey, humble yourself, you too vain, da 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 da. And a blind person's life keeps going on. they one year they get gray hair. They're like, oh, they tripping like I can't do this gray hair, so they color it. Life, may have gave them a lot of gray hair or start balding them, saying, hey, you too vain, mellow out, humble out. But they got some money since the second house, so they go get them some, what they say, some Rogaine for men or women. Um, Color their hair, so they still looking youthful, looking good for their age. But then the time comes, the inevitable comes, that 60, 70, and 80 years come. And every year that they look in the mirror, they seeing themselves getting older and older and older. Until they look in the mirror and they can't recognize the physical face or vessel anymore. All they can recognize is the spirit in the eyes. This is a very critical moment for a person that has been being trained to tame their vanity or to humble themselves relative like beauty, to beauty. And at that time, during them 60s and 50s, 60s, and 70s, when you really can't do nothing about it, you can maybe go get some um, facelifts. We've seen people do that. Get some facelifts to try to offset the appearance of old age. And sometimes, if that Venus energy is inflicted during that phase in one's life, that surgery don't work out right. But they have to live with that. All along, they were trying to be taught how to do what? Humble themselves and to contain their vanity. And so that's just another example of how, like, the Saturn energy can work in one's life. If it's the third house, it can say, okay, you got to refine your immediate environment, your surroundings, the people that you frequent. You got to be careful who you hang out with. You got to be careful about what you allow in your environment, what you create in your environment. Those are just some examples. Now, if we're talking about Saturn in the fourth house and it's been trying to teach you, what could it be trying to teach you? How to maybe be more self-sufficient when it comes to sustaining your emotional health. It may be trying to teach you how to be more nurturing of self or others that are eligible for your emotional support. It could be trying to teach you how to stay home, maintain a home, or build a home or family, or to create. Now I'm gonna keep that for that. The next house is the fifth house. If Saturn has been trying to teach a person something relative maturity relative to their fifth house, what is it about? Let's see. We're talking about ego. It could be like trying to put a block up, saying, "Hey, contain that ego, get control of that ego." Understand there are multiple cohabitating spirits in yourself, and your ego is getting out of control. Don't let it get out of control. You stay in control of it, and slowly, Saturn is trying to, like I just did with the spirit of beauty or vanity. Hey, your ego is going to get you in trouble one day. You got to contain that, reframe that, reframe it, or about taking risk. They're supposed to be what do they selected risk. What that time is? I can't forget. Oh yeah, okay. You have to, if you're gonna take risks, they're supposed to be calculated risk, not just risk for risk's sake. And so Saturn could slowly be training a person on how to not be recklessly risky. Or how about sixth house? Saturn, who is training somebody on sixth house matters in the course of their life. The sixth house talks about your day-to-day routine. How about sticking to a schedule? Huh? And it's the pros and the cons of sticking to a daily schedule or a day-to-day schedule that can do what? Help sustain your life. It can help you meet the demands of life, man, and of God. And if you do it right, you just might free up some time for yourself to be able to see to yourself. God could be, or sixth house also corresponds with domestic animals. It has to do with the health and the health regimen. So it's possible that some people, if Saturn is teaching them in this particular area, in the course of their life, it has to do with tending to one's health and getting a health regimen, or stop eating some foods. That go with Taurus too. Stop eating some foods. Adjust your diet. Pets. Like I'm gonna tell you a pets example that just came to my mind. Pets here in Michigan, and I think it's in many places in the United States, especially around urban areas, is like concerned about pit bull dogs. And so the sixth house represents what? Domesticated animals. Pit bull dog is a domesticated animal that is prone to viciousness. And so a person that is being educated about this in the course of their life, or during a certain period or season in their life, oh, I done seen it, is saying, hey, you got to put up these perimeters, you got to tether this dog, you got to do this, you got to do that, because these particular dogs, this breed, is prone to be vicious. Easily, it don't even have to be provoked, but it's so easily provoked. So you got to do something. Just recently, actually, it seemed like every 4 to 6 months, I'm hearing about another case that's being heard in a local uh, local courts about a pit bull dog that has mauled a child or an adult to death. It wasn't their first time. The warning, the flags kept coming out. Let me go back. The allurement, the pleasure of Venus, the ownership. Remember, talking about Saturn, is to have a beautiful pit bull dog. I love dogs. With the, we can say, the velvety, gray, what they call it, it's called, it's a gray. Oh, I can see the gray in my eye, but I can't think of it. But like a gray pit bull dog, and it's beautiful, and people admire it because it's such a handsome, or dog, or excellent uh, exhibit of that breed. And that dog may snap at the owner, red flag. That dog may scratch the ground and get out under the gate, red flag. That dog may break his collar or chew through his collar, red flag. A visitor comes over and they snap at the visitor, red flag. That dog, but you don't let the dog go. You ain't got the heart to put it to sleep. You've done everything you can do to contain it. And all the evidence say, hey, get rid of the dog. You're gonna have to put it to sleep or turn it over to authorities that can handle it. Otherwise, what? You catch a case. You catch the karma. And that's what I've been seeing a lot of too. People catching a lot of karma associated with, like, dogs, especially dogs that are prone to viciousness. Okay. Seventh house. If Saturn has been attempting to educate you on matters relative to the seventh house, it is about partnerships, partnership negotiations, and contracts. It's almost with Saturn, it's like you got to know when to hold them and you got to know when to fold them. You got to know when to cut your losses. You got to know when you assert yourself. And so I'm going to give you these opportunities in the course of your life, person, in order to refine these skills, these abilities, or this ability to be, I'm going to say, restraint, to practice restraint. So, you pay attention, you keep doing it, and sometimes in the end, oh, you get killed by a lover or something like that. You get jolted out of the benefits you worked so hard for while working with um, in connection with another. That's the end result. That's the karma. If you ain't paid the red flags attention. When it comes to the eighth house talks about debts, taxes, occult. Sometimes in life requires us to look into the dark. And I say look into the dark because everything that's done in the dark don't come to the light. Sometimes we have to look into the dark. Sometimes we got to search. If we sense something that's like something is wrong with another person's energy, or sometimes you got to look. It might be information about a person that could be critical, or something that helps to save your life. You have to be able to look. And so Saturn talks about kind of refining your spy energy, to me, your spy energy, and able to be discerning with that. And the ninth house talks about philosophies, worldviews, and things like that. Many times when we come into this world, we are educated. We have a preliminary education by our parents, our families, our community, whatever. And Saturn will come if you're being educated in that area. It says, okay, that's what you learned when you was a kid. That's what your mama and daddy told you. They told you Santa Claus was real. But let me show you this. What about the year mama and daddy couldn't afford to buy you no Christmas gifts? Did you ask what happened to Santa? Get back on track. That's a belief. Belief in Santa. Then you get back on track. Next time you have an issue is you grown now and you can't buy your kids no gifts from Santa. Did you learn yet? Has that old, outdated, incorrect doctrine or information been debunked? And if it has been, what did you do about it? You know what I'm saying? Saturn. For some that never dealt with the debunking of that story of Santa delivering toys, in the end, one holiday, this is just an example, that a parent can be under so much stress and de-stress that multiple things can happen. A series of things can happen. But an example is have a heart attack and die from stressing out trying to pay bills and buy toys. Or a parent can be so desperate they go out and commit a crime because they just can't face their child because they can't continue the facade of the story. This is what I'm talking about. Saturn, the lessons, and the ultimate karma. We're in a season of karma. It is time to see the fruits of our work. This is not the end of those fruits or the fruits being delivered. As we deliver, as not we, but life delivers these fruits to us, whatever they are, whether the fruits are rotten or if they are bountiful. At the same time, these fruits also have seeds, whether rotten or fruitful. And so, what am I saying? At this time, even though we're getting the karmic results of our past experiences, of our past deeds, we are also planting seeds for our future. Life is animated. I left off at 9. How about 10? Just running through them. The 10th house. If Saturn has come into your life to train you on 10th house matters, then the 10th house talks about your career. What does it take for you to reach the top as far as career? Some people think they can sit on their butt, not do nothing, not put forth no effort. Saturn will train you to see the extent of the work that you have to do as a unique individual in order to rise to the top in a career field or to maintain or sustain um, a particular reputation or social status. An example of this could be like R. Kelly, the singer R. Kelly. Well, he's been battling relative to his career, his reputation, and his social standing. It might have been something like this. When he was with, what is it called? Luke Skywalker? What was the name of that song? It used to be the jam. Be my jam. It's like, well, he's talking about the Freaky Girls, whatever. I can't think of the name of the song. Uh, but back then, when they were, what do you call it? Sexualizing and being disrespectful to women way back in the day, 20, 30 years ago, when I could still break it down, you know? But they were doing demoralizing to women. Maybe it was red flags that was popping up then and told R. Kelly, stop it, stop it, stop it. But he didn't. So over time, karma kept coming back, trying to train him, Satan coming back, trying to train him, but the devil had him. It was too much fame, it was too much money, too many fortunes, too many groupies. He couldn't let it go. So now he faces a lot of charges with this karmic energy. Karmic energy. And it's the same to be said for anybody that finds themselves in a bad place. And it's also the same to be said for those that find themselves in a good place. Let me stop. Enter my personal plugs. Please like, share, and if you haven't already, subscribe. If you're interested in ordering your own personal tarot reading with me, just contact me by email. My email is canangelsfly1@gmail.com. And I ask you to submit a love offering by doing what? Going to my homepage, Can Angels Fly Tarot and More, looking up in the right hand corner of the banner, finding my Cash App link, and sending me a blessing. Thank you. So, I talked about the 10th house. Now let's talk about the 11th house. The 11th house talks about your affiliations, your associations, your friendships. It's the large social network. What is an example of this? Let me try to use like Charlie Manson and the Manson family as an example. In the course of those people's lives, the people that joined Charlie Manson's cult, they had, some of them had families before that. Actually, I think some of the people, members came from fairly well off rich families. So it's possible that their family structure taught them some things or made some demands upon them that weren't cool. Weren't cool. It was the 60s, and so they wanted to do drugs, love, and rock and roll. And so they may have, been defiant to their parents or whatever took case, and then they moved to the next level and tried to join forces with that. And everything kept trying to tell them, hey, go back home. Go back home. Why are you being defiant? Go back home. But they kept on going. And they kept on going until they met Charlie Manson. So we know what happened with Charlie Manson and his crew. And most of them, end up going to jail. That was a karma. Because life had been trying to, Saturn had been trying to teach them when it comes to social associations and social connections. You know, the purpose of that association. I need to go because I'm not clear on that. That depending on who you associate with, what y'all together work on, changes the world. What Charlie Manson and his members did changed the psychology of the world. All along in the people's life, there were red flags being thrown up. Tell them, hey, that's the wrong group to go to. That's the wrong organization. Hold on, all these drugs and all this freaking love. I think you need to break it down. I think you need to go home. Do I know the details of each of these people's lives? No. But what I do know is that there were red flags all along the way in the course of their life. And it kept trying to send them back home. Or it kept trying to send them back to people that were, I could say, could be more positively beneficial to them. But they refused to. They too were caught by the devil in a tarot card, allured by something, allured by the sense of belonging, and ruled by, what's they call, Hella Keller? What's it called? Hella Keller? That kind of thing. Red one, whatever it was. So, and then the final thing is the 12th house. What is the 12th house about? I really like the 12th house because it also talks about karma. It talks about because you had particular past life experiences, there is some corresponding experiences that will occur, are predetermined to occur, and they will. They will. And so, when we talk about Saturn training one on the 12th house, it's saying, to me, it's saying, okay now, like y'all people, I'm going to give you a chance to get into the psyche, your own psyche. You can go into your own sunken place. Can't nobody else go there. Now, what I will allow is I allow some professional therapists to help you go down there if you can't get down there yourself, to get down there and do the work. I keep trying to push you down there to go deal with that hidden dark stuff, but you don't want to go. You don't want to go because you're scared. You don't want to go because it ain't cool. And I keep trying to tell you, go visit that place. Go heal those wounds. Go make those amends. Get in touch with yourself. Get in tune with your star player, yourself. Clear out your heart. Clear out your mind. Do this. Clear it out. All alone. Most of us won't do it. And there's an ultimate karma. Some of the things that's affiliated with the 12th house that can be karmic manifestations of not dealing with 12th house issues is that people end up what? In mental hospitals, dead, insane asylums, or prison. And in this video, I talked about two people that weren't able to deal with that which was accumulated in their psyche, in their psychological state. These people tried to climb out of their sunken place and could not. The reason why they couldn't climb out of that sunken place, that dark place of the soul, was because there was no one there to help them. It wasn't a common focus or interest of humanity. All they did was kept pushing SHIT on top of them, other people like them. But I'll say this in closing, just to let you know that it seems that this Saturn turning direct phase is the one that's going to deliver that karma. Now don't let me close this live stream up with saying is that there is some good karma. There's some good karma out here. If you did the work in them 12 houses I talked about, I mean, again, it depends on what your focus it has been in the course of your life or the various periods in your life. If you did the work, there's good karma headed your way. Even though I've been fussing and cussing and stressed out and testifying and being judgmental, and that's me as witness. That's me as human being. But I can honestly say thus far, my karma appears to be really good. And what I'm facing now is what I see, what has become clear to me during this phase, is that I'm so emotionally invested and connected to others that I got to separate myself from them. I got to separate myself from them. Let me see if I make sense. About last year, I was hearing, or reading in people's chats and comments when people were talking about the ascension process, and there were people that actually thought the physical body would ascend, and they were worried that they were going to be leaving people were worried about they're going to leave their children or their significant other and how it can't go without them, and people was telling them, hey, don't worry, life is going to take they know how life knows. I mean, God, like life and God knows how much you love your children and your husband or your significant other. Life's gonna take them with you. Lying to these people. Lying to these people. That's not the case. It's not the case. No. We each are on our own individualized journey. Each of us seem to be a cell, C-E-L-L. Try to make physical words. Try to use physical words to create a, analogy of, or a metaphor. I get them out mixed up. Of divinity. Each of us seem to be a cell in, I'll say, divinity. And each cell has to be purified and clean. And I say that because, remember I said I'm so emotionally connected to all of these people. Oh, y'all, I even got the message about me being judgmental. And it said, Nancy, you are judgmental of those around you because you're not around the people on the other side of the world.
Are you doing live?
I'm live. What's going on?
If I bring you $60, can you pay my storage on the first and I have the rest on the third?
Oh, no. Wait a minute. I'm going to be right here. I need this. Now. You got it now?
What? I'm about to go get the $60 now.
How long is it going to take you?
About 30, 40 minutes. I got to go to the east side.
Why you have to do it now?
Because I have to get re-up.
Shh. Re-up what? I'm live. What's that? I'm about to
You
get
live.
on. I am live.
Focus on that.
I'm about to focus on something. Hold on, y'all. I'm about to go raise hell.
Ma.
You better. I'm coming. Hold on, y'all. I'm about to.
Ma.
Get out. Huh? Get out now.
Why?
I'm on live. Get out. Get out. Right now before I set it off. So re-up. I'll re-up your neck. It made my hair fall apart. Sorry, y'all. Talking crap. I'm up like going crazy. I had to go kick butt. I'll finish kicking butt in a minute. So, I was talking about the good side of karma. I was talking about how I'm so emotionally connected with other people, whether I deal with them every day or not. I still have this is like natural connection, and it's not just me. Most of us do, unless we just spiritually, dead or not dimmed, spiritually dimmed down. we have somewhat a connection. We somewhat care. And so, what am I saying? I'm saying when karma is administered or issued out to each of us based on our previous works, right? As well as the collective. Two things going on, our own individual works as well as the collective works that we do. Karma is being administered out on both levels at the same time, concurrently. Your word, legal issue, word concurrently. Uh, let's say hypothetically, thus far, my karma has been going very well for me. I'm okay. Am I perfect? No, but I'm okay. Especially after the stories I'm hearing. Um, these other two that I've talked about in the course of this live stream, their karma is horrible. It's horrible. They can't take me with them. I don't want to go with them, but they can't take me with them, and I can't take them, even though I care about them, with me to this place. Or how can I say? I'm not. We not. Well, they going somewhere, but I'm saying I can't take them to the good place. I can't have them experience the result of good karma because they didn't earn it. So I'm going and gonna have the experience that I'm gonna have, and they gonna go and have the experience they gonna have. Now the interesting thing, even though they both in trouble, even basically, well, they both in trouble, they're still individualized experiences. Even though they have experiencing a similar karma, they're still individualized experiences. Ain't nobody with them. This is the point where people talk about in church. Ain't nobody with them. Ain't nobody with them. The ego has abandoned them. Those cohabitating spirits have abandoned them. And the only thing that's sitting in those jail cells, on them benches, on them hard beds, is their flesh body and their soul. And the only other thing that's going to be there for them is the light. Any light that has ever been attempted to be pushed into their life is going to be the only thing that ministers to them. And so I bring that up about not being able to take a person with you on a journey associated with your karma. Because it stands true between significant others, spouses and lovers and boyfriends and girlfriends. It stands true between parents and children. It stands true. Whatever your karma is as an individual, you're going to go on that journey. You're going to begin that journey alone, good or bad. And whether it's good or bad, as you reap the karma, you also plant the seed for the future. And as you start traveling along the pathway that has been set by your karmic, by your karma, as you move forth on that path that your karma, dispense karma, set you on, that's when you'll start meeting new people, like minds, and different things like that. But remember, everybody dropping seeds. As soon as you receive the karma, at the same time, simultaneously, you dropping seeds. You begin to drop the seeds and plant for the future. And so now that we've taken a look at Saturn direct and its lessons, and karma, now we understand. Now that we're going into this new phase, we understand. We can see clearly. I asked you to share this video. I asked you to really like it. Maybe you've heard that the more thumbs up a video get, the more shared. And I out of all the videos I made, I do believe this one is so important. I really do. Because I think that the way I teach, the way I see the world, is a way that maybe a lot of others could possibly come to see or understand the world. Yeah, I just said that wrong. But I think that people can kind of get what I'm talking about when I talk about Saturn, its influence, and karma being administered in the future. And so again, I ask you to share the video. Why? Hopefully it was, like the video. Why? Hopefully it was really good. Hopefully it was really informative. Hopefully really understood. Why should you like it? Because it's possible that it will help YouTube decide to say, hey, let some other folks see it. And then I ask you to share it. Why? Just to help YouTube get it out here so people can understand. Now, I always talk about this too. How my channel is cataloged or categorized as entertainment. But if you follow me, you know that I personally don't consider this entertainment. This is a reality. And we are dealing with major social issues that have not been resolved and have continued to be perpetuated and to birth additional issues. And all of those issues have circumstances and situation and is spreading like a disease. And it will continue to do so. And what I'm seeing now, if I'm seeing the story, the future of the story clearly, it's not going to just stop with some race or one race in particular. No, this virus is going to spread. It's going to spread. And so we need to understand clearly what we are doing. So I'm going to let y'all go after I read the chat. Thank you for your time, your energy, and effort. I love you all. And just thank you for, spending time with me. Oh, yeah. And feel free to order your own personal tarot reading wherever you want. And whenever you want to submit a love offering, just go to my homepage. Upper right corner is my Cash App link. All right. Now let's see. In closing, wait a minute. Yes, they will cancel homeowners insurance here in North Carolina. Oh, they will. If you got one, you get. I was on my way to get ready to end when you got on here, Dr. Princess. Well, at least you got here before I ended, so I'm happy you did that. Please do a replay. I think I started this live stream maybe 15 minutes in, because as soon as I started it, the phone rang, and they always messing with me. It's intentional. Um, is how you train the dog. It's a blue pit. They are beautiful. Blue pit. Yep, that's blue pit. Yep. But you know what? And that's in law. In the law, it's not really how you train the dog. They say that doesn't matter. That's irrelevant. Um, it has very little standing, because they said that some dogs in their nature, they are just prone to be vicious. Period. So it really don't even matter about the training when it comes to the law. Our Charlie Manson is called gang banging. It's called gang banging, the acting a fool, huh? I can't be gang banging. I'm too old for that. I was listening to someone yesterday said, "Be careful of those next to whom you what and you." I don't know what that's saying, but I guess be careful who you around. That's kind of what. Oh, stand who you stand. We be riding over here. Yeah. um, you have to be careful about who you stand. So, oh yeah. It was something else I want to say, but I forgot. Maybe I'll think of it later. I don't know what the day will bring. But I do know this. Some people, get ready. You going to get some really great experiences in your life, or especially like Aquarius, which makes so much sense. I might as well extend this a few more minutes. Makes so much sense. And I talked about this in a prior video, how Capricorn ruler is Saturn. So Capricorns primarily have been reared by Saturn. This is their ruler. So the people that could catch it very, very hard are people that are Saturn, sun, moon, or rising. Basically, Saturn, anything, because Saturn has directly been training you from the moment you came up on the radar. And then secondarily, it's Aquarius, because Aquarius is ruled by Saturn and Uranus. So my point is saying these two signs, Capricorn and Aquarius, have been being trained by Aquarius from the moment they popped out the womb. As soon as they had crown, they were being trained. So at this point in time in your life, Saturn look like you, my primary children. You ain't learned. Oh, okay. I'm a really kick butt. Parent get mad when it's the child they done invested a lot in. Like, I done invested a lot in you. You ain't learned yet. What? Okay, I'm about to kick butt. I'm about to kick butt on you. And so that's another thing. But those, and then a person can also be highly influenced or impacted by Saturn's influence or teachings, if they have already, experienced like Saturn transiting through their house, and then next the Saturn return. And I just talked about Saturn ruling a person in a part of your chart. These are people that should be well trained in a particular area of life, and those interlinking or corresponding life areas. You should be well trained by now. And if you mastered those um, life lessons, if you did them fairly masterfully, reasonably, then Saturn gives you the equivalent to your work. And I'm talking about, it gives you, Saturn don't add no extra. It ain't all generous and nice and expansive like Jupiter, but it gives you what you work for, your equivalent. You did that much work, you get this much benefit, or this much refund, or this much relief. And so, what am I saying? People that have mastered the lessons will find relief at this time. The relief could have started maybe, I'll say, a month or so ago, and will continue. You will start, or maybe 2 months, you'll start getting relief. You'll start seeing results, those kind of things. Is life gonna be easy breezy? No, because what Saturn is, one of its mode of operation is to set challenges before you. So the challenges that are going to come before you are things that can be overwhelming to one person that ain't mastered themselves or don't know. But to a person like you, me, those trained by Saturn, when you see the challenge, you be like, oh, okay, I know what to do. You do that and be done with it. Like easy breezy for you. And you're going to breeze through, and you're going to get the result. You're going to get the reward. You're going to get the benefits of it. Easy. But those that didn't learn, that shortcut and played all along the way, things gonna start coming upon them. Like the people I talked about in this video, and some more I know. Things gonna come upon them, and it's gonna wash them away. Like people that are masters are gonna get up. When I talk about riding away, they're gonna get up and they're gonna ride away. But the others are going to be washed up under the wave. And this is the time, this real challenging, when those people are drowning under the waves and the pressure of Saturn, and the corresponding or relative life experiences. I don't think we're supposed to pick them up. We're not supposed to reach our hand down and try to pick them up out of that. Why? It's karma. And possibly to do so, it can cause us to wipe out or get stuck in a cycle that we ain't got no business being in, trying to help somebody. And we can come out that experience or that cycle or that phase or that season looking old and wore out, toe up, and broke. And why is that? Because Saturn talk about old. If you is restriction, old age, dry, and decay. So if you dip down in there and try to help somebody, because you can't go with them. You ain't supposed to go with them. You can't go with them. But if you do, it's gonna cost you. And this is like the energy of sacrifice. Are you willing to sacrifice yourself? And I'm not just talking. I'm not talking about. I'm using physical words. I ain't talking about sacrifice yourself physically, even though you will be sacrificing yourself physically. But we actually talking about on a spiritual realm. I'm talking about stuff that can be detrimental to your soul, like drag you back down here. You'll be giving so much of your energy that you've acquired and sustained and maintained away to another that may never ever be able to master themselves. They may never be able to master themselves, not in this lifetime. And so we're also confronted with deciding, you know, to just enjoy, the benefits of our work, and over, rising to the occasion, the lessons, and enjoying again the benefits. And at the same time, they talk about, I just want to cry. So they talk about, when I say they, I'm talking about various astrologers and different books I've heard of, talk about how Saturn, by the time it train you, you never ever really get to that, let me say, ecstatic, um, what is that word? What's that? When they talk about state of nirvana, you don't get nirvana. Well, you can't get nirvana in this world, but close to it. I can't think of the word. But like this nirvana, you can't achieve nirvana in this physical realm because you you've seen so many and experienced so many trials, tribulations, horrors that nothing is that is that I don't know, beautiful. It's nothing. And what do I mean? I'm talking about, okay, if at this point in time my karma says I get the weight of my mastery back in gold and blessings, that's good for me. That's good. But how happy can I be when there are others that I am emotionally attached to that is seeing various pits of hell? So, in this place of, for lack of better words, of nirvana that I may be in, I can't be in nirvana, but lack of better words, I can't even, you know, ride that frequency of pure happiness, a celebratory energy, because I know some of my people in humanity, whoever they may be, haven't learned. They haven't learned, or they didn't catch a break. And again, they are in the various pits of hell. So just knowing that they're in these various pits of hell takes all of the joy. It takes much of the joy. It takes that edge off before you get to nirvana. It takes that off because I know that they're suffering. And that's another thing that's related to karma, to Saturn. I hope that makes sense. One last read from the chat, then I'm in this live stream so I can go turn up a little bit. Shut up, Scrappy. There seems to be some pushback on staying integrity. Like, oh, you know that. I'm wondering about that integrity thing. Hi, Mermaid Wishes. I'm out of here. Got to take my bathroom break and turn up in my house. Bye.